Some are suggesting that Arsenal Football Club are capitulating. What we're going to do in this video, and I'm really excited about it, is really delve deep into the goings-on at Arsenal Football Club. Could you please do us a massive favour? If you like this idea, this slightly longer format video, will you please give it a like, just so that we can monitor it? And if you do, we'll do it more often. We've already done one about Liverpool with Adeola Depot, and today, joining me, it's the wonderful James B. There isn't anyone else I would rather see today than you, sir.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you.
You've been an incredibly confident Arsenal fan. You've been a purveyor of the belief that Mikel Arteta is going to win the league. Do you still swing that way?
I'd say it's funny because I'm not like all in on Arteta. I'm not, he can do no wrong. And I think when your comment section are filled with, some people call me a total Arteta lover. Some people say I'm an Arteta hater. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that means I'm balanced. The reality is we're seeing problems creep up that have been problems of earlier this season, problems of last season, problems of the season before. So there's a fear that we're not learning from our mistakes. I'm still confident we'll do it. We'll delve into everything Arsenal. I know you'll be enjoying this as a Chelsea fan, and I get that. But I think that there's a long way to go. And hopefully, if we were to have a blip, we've done it in time to fix it.
Yeah, do you know what, James? When I was watching the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers, I was shocked. I genuinely was. I couldn't believe that it had come to this. Like, regardless of whether you win the league now or not, I just can't believe we're in the situation that we're in. I felt like Arsenal were the best team in the country. I felt like you were the best squad in the country. I felt like you were the heir to the throne. And the fact that it went so long to the reigning champions, Liverpool, it went so wrong for them. It felt like the door was open for you. City are in a rebuild. It felt like you were a shoo-in. The fact that there is now major jeopardy, I think paints Mikel Arteta's contribution in a really ugly colour. Even if you get there, I still feel like, I know it won't matter. I know history is written by the winners. But in the review or a video that I did recently about Arsenal, I was talking about the history of Arteta. And it actually, when I was kind of thinking about it, it made me think of that Chiellini comment, the history of the Tottenham. Yeah. The history of the Arteta is this, isn't it? It's be brilliant. There is almost a story arc. You improve, you start well, you start strong, you do well, you blip, you end strong, you ultimately finish as valiant losers, and you go again the following season. That can't happen this year.
No, it can't. I've got a video coming out on the Goonerverse. I've said that he's at a real crossroads moment. And I don't just mean at Arsenal. I kind of mean as how he's viewed as a manager. So I think he's done great work, and I think he's done a very unique job at Arsenal. I don't know how many managers, if any, have taken on a club as big as Arsenal, could have been sacked 3-4 times for the performances, the results, the run of form, actually turn the narrative completely to a point where people, I'm seeing in the media, clips of others going, well, Arsenal should do a double or a treble. I'm thinking, where's that expectation come from? Pep's still in this league, Liverpool just won it. But so things have swung so drastically. Some hair lenders have been a part of it. It's been a 6-year project. You've fallen short, finishing second 3 years in a row. He's at a crossroads because I think each path is basically you're the nearly man. You're Brendan Rodgers, who I respect, actually won the FA Cup with Leicester, but he had a good Liverpool side. You couldn't get over the line. You thought you could get Champions League with Leicester. It didn't quite happen. Or the PSG job's there for you in the coming years. And then the Barcelona job's there in the coming years. And suddenly you have a CV, Arsenal, PSG, Barcelona, and you've won with all of them. I think that could easily be the way it goes. But it's a crossroads. I can't see it confidently and say that's where his career is going. So as much as we talk about this for Arsenal, I think Arteta's a very, very good coach. But is he a world-class winner? Or is he... Yeah. Do you know what? A guy's got great ideas, but when it comes to it, you couldn't get over the line. Yeah,
I think it's interesting.
Major crossroads.
I do agree with you as well. I think that there's something... What I don't subscribe to, right? And I do see it. It's kind of prevalent in your world, your Arsenal YouTube world. The hostility towards Arteta. That doesn't resonate with me. I don't quite get it. And I appreciate that it's not my club. I'm not an Arsenal fan. But when I see Arsenal fans quite aggressively talk about Mikel Arteta, quite hatefully, some of them talk about Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, some do.
You're aware, right? That makes no sense to me because I will always concede that Mikel Arteta has changed Arsenal. Yeah. The fact that we're talking about Arsenal winning the league, the fact that we're talking about Arsenal winning a Champions League, the fact that, if I'm completely honest with you, and I always think that this is such a feather in Mikel Arteta's cap. A year or so ago, 10 months ago, whatever it would be, I honestly thought you were going to win the Champions League. okay, it didn't come true.
Yeah.
But the fact that I believed it was going to come true is almost a statement of what Mikel Arteta has done. He has made it possible. I haven't been fearful of you winning a Champions League for, well, I'd say since the 2010 era. Yeah, I think six. And then there was a couple of other periods where you were quite good, and I think we both actually got knocked out in the same semi-final. We both got knocked out in the semi-final. Might have been 2009 because it was we had a losers game. And I went to
Barca.
We had a losers game.
Did we have a losers game?
We had a losers game.
Third place?
No. Sorry. We played each other in the league, coincidentally.
Right.
So we got knocked out midweek and we were robbed. You got battered by Manchester United. We played. Anelka scored for us. Well, I think we battered you. I remember I went to the game. I think we battered you like 4-1.
I was thinking there was some secret third place. They scrapped all
amazing.
the way back then. I was like, surely not.
Do you know what it was? It was a horrible day because it was like an unofficial. We'd both been launched out of the European Cup in midweek.
Yeah.
And then we played on the weekend. So there were other periods where I thought you were capable, but last year, mate, I honestly thought you were going to win it. And I would say that even the 06 team, I was in Barcelona, weirdly, when you played Barcelona in the final in Paris. I went to Barcelona to see the Arctic Monkeys. And as much as you were in a final and you were 1-0 up, I was surrounded by Barcelona fans, and I kind of believed that you weren't going to win it. Sure. And you didn't. I believed that you were going to win it.
Yeah,
I honestly
season.
did. So for that, Mikel Arteta deserves a load of credit. However, some of his conduct this season, I just can't believe it, because we're having the same conversation. You know, earlier this year, the game at Liverpool, very early in the season, we didn't know that Liverpool were going to be the fragile side that they've been. But you had the opportunity to make a major statement. First away game of the season, I think, for you.
Yeah.
One of the early ones. Old Trafford, wasn't it? But anyway, you ended up at Anfield early. And you had the opportunity to make an amazing statement, beat the champions at their home ground, wallop. And he was cowardly. People don't like that word, but cowardly.
I think it was uninspiring.
Nicer word.
Yeah.
This is what you bring. Less aggressive words.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, it was. But I thought that he then changed that philosophy. You went away to Newcastle when you got a big win. Remember, you got a big win. But it feels like we're kind of back to square one. You played Liverpool again at your home ground. I always go to call it Highbury, at the Emirates. And by that point, we knew that Liverpool were vulnerable, and you did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What is there an element of cowardly quality to him?
So, I think this is just true of life, for the sake of a little life lesson from James and Rory. I think you see people's true colours when things are going bad or things are tough, not when things are going well. And I think, in our pomp, we're battering Tottenham, we're battering Bayern, we're feeling good about ourselves, the squad depth is there. Gyokeres is doing all right, Eze's in good form. That's great. And then I think the minute things get a bit tough, we're not playing our best football, I think we revert to type. Protect what you've got. Don't try and play yourself into form. The goal will come. Just be steady, be sturdy. But the Premier League has proven time and time and time again, and I'm someone who loves the XG and the stats and the data and all that. Put that aside. Cunha's capable of slapping it in the far corner if he wants. So is Dorgu. Wolves, if they have a go, they're going to get a shot off. You might just make an error. Something can happen.
Yeah.
So it's not even just enough saying, well, you drew to Forest, you drew to Liverpool, that can happen. These other teams can hurt you too, even at the very foot of the table. It's not the first time Wolves have been competitive in a big game. So yeah, they might be the worst team since Derby. But
the setup as well.
We invite it. We invite it.
You play 4 centre-halves across the back line.
Yeah.
Rice and Zubimendi in front.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the most ambitious, is it?
No, but it's worse than that because when we are then having a go, who's sitting in the half spaces nearer to goal? It's Timber and Nkapie. Now, okay, worked for the second goal. That's nice. How many times this season have we seen our left back pick up the ball in that space and score? We're asking you Jurian Timber, who's a good player, but he's not. I mean, I'm not just saying this because you're a Chelsea fan in front of me. I thought the comparisons to Reece James were ridiculous because while Timber's a very good player, Reece James can affect the final third. Timber's never been that kind of player. Ben White's closer to that.
You're rational. And a lot of my... Look, I don't want to slam a whole fan base here. I'm not going to do that. No. I'm from North London, right? I've got a lot of Arsenal mates. I've got Arsenal family. Yeah. And they aren't like this. And you've just demonstrated it. You're not either. Turkish, good friend of both of us. Yeah. He's not. But there is something that exists. I mean, during Timber, by Piers Morgan, who is... People will go, oh, Piers Morgan, who cares? Like, Piers Morgan is an Arsenal season ticket holder, right? He's been an Arsenal fan all his life. His children are Arsenal. Like, he is as Arsenal, even if people don't like him, he is as Arsenal as you can be. He has at least 2 generations older than us. He has put Jurrien Timber in his all-time Premier League Arsenal 11. Now, if that isn't a microcosm of Arsenal fans getting carried away with the modern team, Jurrien Timber, he's not a better Arsenal right back. He's obviously not a better Arsenal right back than Lee Dixon. He's obviously not a better right back than Lauren. Both of these two, by the way, won leagues.
Yeah.
Right? One of them went invincible and the other one a double. He's also not a better Arsenal right back yet than a good player like Bakary Sagna. So to just go, they're the best. I think people go, that's such an Arsenal thing to do. No Chelsea fan is going, Cole Palmer's in an all-time 11. They're just not doing it.
True, but if I'm to push back, to be fair, a little bit, I don't agree with the Timber shout, but as in that he's our best right back. But I think that's something that we see in football media a lot right now. Okay, maybe Chelsea fans aren't saying that Palmer's the best, 10 in the world, but Caicedo's very quickly been shot up to best 6 in the world.
Yeah.
And Man United fans like Bruno Fernandes putting him on a level with Frank Lampard and Gerrard. Yeah. And I'm thinking, he's a very good player.
Yeah,
but
that I do agree. That I do agree with.
I saw someone comparing Szoboszlai to Gerrard recently.
Mate, that was Tony Cascarino.
Okay,
Tony
Tony
Cascarino, who, by the way, I remember being in the Tottenham away end singing to Tina Turner, "We don't need another hero because we've got Tony Cascarino." Right, hero of mine. It was on TalkSport actually. I for the first time maybe ever, I did a bit of friendly fire on TalkSport.
Okay.
I quote tweeted it.
I think I saw your tweet.
I quote tweeted it, and I was just like, no, Szoboszlai doesn't play the same sport as Steven Gerrard. Can we just all be normal, please?
I think there is a nature in the media. There's a lot of those conversations, hyperbole, by the way, good and bad. So, whatever it might be, you get a lot of that. But do you know what I think it's slightly sad for Arsenal fans when these conversations happen is I think there are some players we are rightly putting in certain conversations. And if I go back over the years, we championed the likes of Van Persie, Fabregas, Nasri, who all left to Man United, Man City and Chelsea and won titles. So the level we held them to was fair. But the problem is you can't bring others up with, they were special. So in this squad right now, I think Saliba and Gabriel are special. I think Declan Rice is special. Saka's not having the year he wants.
But he is special. I agree with you on that,
But that's kind of now slow down. I think that's where some people have Havertz. He's a brilliant striker. He's not a brilliant striker. He's a good player, and he has a good impact on the team. Martinelli, Trossard, they're good players. Now Timber is a brilliant defender. If I need to hold on, second half of a Champions League final, get Jurrien Timber on that pitch. I don't care where he plays. But we're trying to be the team that people want to watch. More often than not, the team that win the league, you want to tune into them. Even if you hate watching, you at least kind of sit there and go, wow, they're good. I remember, and I know that they were a special, unique era and brand of football, but Klopp and Liverpool, Pep and City, the 2-2s, do you remember? They'd share a few of them. No, I know that was just a unique level, but you just watched them and you were just in awe. And as much as I was an Arsenal fan wanting to kind of hate on them both, I'd sit there and go, this is just getting me on. I need to watch this game. And we're not setting that trend in the league.
You used to be that.
Under Arteta?
Yeah, no.
Well, that's the thing.
You Arsenal Football Club.
Exactly.
At one point, obviously, I know the George Graham era wasn't quite this, but the George Graham era wasn't quite as ugly as people make out. All that 1-0 to the Arsenal thing. It still had amazing footballers in it. It still had Paul Merson was an artist. Ian Wright was elite. Yeah. Anders Limpar was a wonderful footballer. There were still really good artistic footballers. Yeah. And this approach from Arteta, it isn't really, just doesn't feel in keeping with certainly Emirates era Arsenal. When you went away to Wolves, right? You go 1-0 up, you're playing a team that are bottom of the league. You're then 2-0 up. Wolves are going down. They have nothing to play for.
Yeah, the game should be done.
Yeah, the only way that there was any jeopardy of the game, I thought, was complacency from you. And it actually wasn't that. They were good. You allowed them to get good. And part of the reason was because I think for the first 40 minutes, it was the worst performance I've seen from anyone. Wolves were terrible. Why are you not 4-0 up?
No.
Why are you not 4-0 up? Because not only 4-0 is great for so it's there's no bad thing to 4-0, right? But just imagine what it would mean. It could mean 4-0 up. It could mean 4 different goal scorers, which could be great for everyone. It could also mean Saka gets a hat-trick, which is great for everyone, right? The tide rises.
Yeah.
Goal difference could be significant, which is great. Equally, you win 5-0. Suddenly, City are going, Arsenal are clicking into gear at the wrong time. That's problematic. Puts pressure on. Like, I don't know why at 2-0 you decide that's the end.
And you can rest players. You can say, right, Saka, Rice, thanks for your services, come off. Let's get some players on, keep it moving. Yeah, I completely
Also, Wolverhampton Wanderers fans, they've been through it, right? This is probably the worst season that a lot of them will have ever had. You know, if you do go 4-0 up, they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
Instead of that, they had that moment with the ref where they felt that they'd been wrong by the ref. Suddenly, Molyneux's rocking.
Yeah,
You've allowed it. You've allowed it to happen.
And we do. I called it opposition-enhancing football. We play football that tells teams they're in it.
You're a great man.
That's very kind of
you. You are a great man.
Why do you think that?
It's opposition-enhancing football.
I genuinely think that's what we play. I think we play football that allows teams to think they're in it.
Yeah.
And you know, and I really want to be really pedantic about this, because earlier in the season when we went 8 clean sheets in a row, we weren't scintillating, blowing sides away. 1-0 against Palace, I remember. 2-0 in the Cup against Brighton, doing the job in the Champions League. 1-0 away at Fulham. The difference with those games were the opposition, all right, on paper we weren't the most entertaining, but teams were coming off, not battered and bruised because we'd scored 7 goals, but they were going, we got nowhere near their goal. We didn't even have a shot. And you jump on Twitter and you'd see XG philosophy and it'd be like, Arsenal can see an XG of 0.1, and that's it, or 0.04. Basically, it'd be like, I've never seen domination like this. And what we mean is not that it's the most dominant side I've ever been, but basically Arsenal spend the whole fight like this. Yeah. Basically, hand on forehead, stay away from me. But we're not doing that now. So I'm not even sitting here saying, why have you not scored 4 or 5 goals? Entertain me. I'm saying there's got to be an element of, the football's about scoring goals, stopping the opposition from scoring goals, and we were the best at stopping them from doing it. Now I think every team feels like they're in a fight against us.
Yeah, but this is the thing though, I think it all stems from Arteta. Like his emotion on the touchline, also his misleading language. Like, you know, this full gas football that he says, right? He said something about we're all going to get on a happy bus and play with...
He said, how do we want to play the next 4 months, basically? We talked about it and we want to play with a smile, we want to enjoy it, and I'm thinking, do I get to enjoy this? Because
do you like his emotion on the touchline? Like, you know, at one point, mate, I was watching at my neighbours, who is an Arsenal fan. There was a moment, right, at 2-1, and the camera, it was unlucky, I know, right, but the camera pans to Arteta, and he's like, ugh.
Yeah.
And you're like, mate, like, I know that's just a moment in time. I know that, but... Do you know how these things can kind of like define you and almost set the tone? A bit like Amorim hiding in the dugout at the penalty,
feet up in the dugout.
Absolutely, absolutely right. It's like they can kind of define it, and you're like, this emotion that is constantly on display from Arteta, I don't feel like it's benefiting Arsenal at all.
Yeah, so the emotion was really questioned, mainly by Gary Neville and people a couple of years ago, back when we were a young side, first in it, and I think the emotion carried us. I think we then actually got a hold of that, and to be fair, for a lot of this season, I think Arteta's managed the emotion, the squad, the amount of games. I think he's largely managed it really well. I have to be really honest with you. I hadn't at any point really sat there and thought, oh, you know, he's doing too much on the touchline. I think a lot of managers now are very active on the touchline. But where I do have an issue with him is I feel like, if you know that Paul Merson clip when he was talking about Martinez, the manager, and he's saying you'd watch Everton, they look terrible, and then he'd speak,
and then Men in Black. He does the Men in Black.
Yeah,
he says that it's an amazing clip, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great clip.
Yeah, Everton get battered 3-0. And you go, well, they're rubbish, and the manager's got to go. Then Martinez does an interview, and it's like he's done the Men in Black. It didn't happen. Tommy Lee Jones. And then all of a sudden, everything's all right.
Yeah, like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Yeah, and that's... Mikel's got a little bit of that. Yeah. There's a little bit of, we lose to Man United, he needs to get a message out. How we spoke as a team. How do we want to play the next 4 months? And I'm sitting there going, penny's dropped.
Yeah.
Let's attack it. Let's claim that title. Let's get on the front foot. We follow that up with a 4-0 win against Leeds. We get it done in the Champions League, I think. We go and beat Sunderland 3-0. And City are in the middle of this, you know, they've got Tottenham away, then they've got Liverpool coming, and we're kind of all on the train. But the reality is, again, that's all well and good. You've scored early against Sunderland, you scored early against Leeds, so you're feeling comfortable, whatever. But when push came to shove again, we just revert to type. Yeah. Against Brentford, things were tough. So did we say, all right, it's become a bit of a basketball match, let's embrace it because we've got the firepower? No, we go, we've got to stop them.
Yeah.
They're all over us. We've got to stop them, even if we don't actually start playing till the 35th minute. So his words, Mikel, he says all the right things, and I think, yep, great, like I'm on board. But especially this season, I've been one to go, we'll see.
Yeah.
A lot of Arsenal fans buy into it, and I get it. Like, you're here for the right, I understand. But I've been a bit more cynical. I've been a bit more, let's just see what you do on the pitch. And the reality is, we're only 2-3 weeks on from those quotes, and almost the Arsenal fan base are united for the first time in ages. And they're united around the sense of, we are awful to watch, aren't we? Like, and we might win it, but we're awful to watch. Now, if we do win it, who cares? We will not care.
Yeah, no, of course.
But right now, we're doubting whether it's winning football. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm doubting.
That's the thing, and history is always written by the winners. So if you don't win it,
100%.
So we've seen a lot of Arsenal fans kind of talking about this, and I know that I'm getting this from online personality, and I appreciate that isn't a good metric. And to Arsenal fans who are watching this, I do apologise. I do understand what you're saying. Don't listen to... I know.
Yeah.
Okay? But I'm just going to use it as an example.
Yeah.
Some Arsenal fans are saying that he's got to go. Some prominent Arsenal fans are saying that he's got to go. Where do you sit on that?
I think if he doesn't win the Premier League or the Champions League this year, I'll be ready for a change personally.
Will you?
Yeah. And I said,
do you think that's a majority view?
No, I don't think that's a majority view. I think that's quite 50-50.
Because do you know what?
Yeah.
And I appreciate you are so much more well versed in this. Your opinion is so much more valid than mine. But from the outside looking in, which is sometimes an interesting perspective, right? Because I'm not emotionally invested, right? 100%. What it feels to me with Arteta, it feels to me that there is an inevitability that you're going to win the league. Now, it doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen, even when it feels inevitable. Yeah. At one point, it felt like Pochettino was inevitably going to win a league,
or a trophy, or something.
It was inevitable. Yeah. They'd gone second. They were then moving to Wembley. It was. It felt like they were a team on the up. Harry Kane was young and brilliant. Dele Alli was unplayable. Christian Eriksen, one of the most creative players in the league. It felt like they had to win a trophy. Yeah. And the word I would use was inevitable. They will. They've got it right. It's going to happen. It didn't happen. I'm not saying that it's going to be the same, but I'm saying that the feeling I have with Arteta is the inevitability feels like it's there.
Yeah, I do think it's there, but I think, I don't know, sometimes I think I'm doing too much when I'm, making content and saying things like this, but a little part of me is also like, how do I want to live life? Just a little bit. And what I mean by that is, we can go again. Absolutely. Sometimes there's a sense of just be sensible. He's a young manager. He's getting better. This year's the closest we've been, whatever. And we'll see if that's the case. But it feels like the closest we've been. Competing on all four fronts. He'll get there. Give him more money. Eventually we'll get there. I get that. Then there comes a point where you go, and this is what I mean about kind of how you want to live life. It's like, but if Enrique's available, or a Fabregas who might have the new ideas.
Keep your mitts off.
Or is that who you're looking at?
Yeah, that's not my Chelsea aren't.
Okay.
That's who I would like Chelsea to be.
Well, and I think Arsenal fans feel the same, although some still hate Cesc, but I never did.
Didn't you? You're a gentleman.
Well, Wenger didn't want him back.
Yeah.
And then he gave his all for Chelsea, and fair enough. Like, whatever. I mean, anyway. Nagelsmann, Hansi Flick. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying they're necessarily the answer, but do you want to die trying? There's a little bit of like... Yeah. Now, okay, I will also caveat this, because I can already hear the Arsenal fans in the comments, okay? I actually think we are going to win the league. I think Arteta will deliver, and I think we carry on. I think the minute he does that, it'll be such a weight. I think he will start to go up levels as a manager, as a coach. I think he'll embrace the attacking football that we saw in 2024. Certainly did in the 22-23 season. At times in this year, I think he'll belong a little bit more.
It could be the making of him. Yeah, you're right. If he wins it, that could be like the monkey off his back, and all of a sudden you're then thinking, are they then favourites to retain it?
Well, let's go.
Yeah.
A young team, great players, and these players were put in these conversations.
Moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But if he doesn't, it'll be a fourth year in a row. And Rory, I always say this, and people who do tune into my content, thank you if you do. You'd be so bored of me saying this. People fixate on second again or ole, 3 seconds in a row. And I go, that's all great, and sing your chance, that's fine. That's not what bothers me. We have no divine right to beat... Van Dijk, Salah, Haaland, Guardiola, all them to the title. These are clubs that have been there and done it. They've got great players. We have no divine right. But you cannot tell me that in the 4 years, this is the fourth year, that we have been an extremely competitive side. If we don't win something this year, it won't be our fourth Premier League title we ever won. It will be our 16th trophy that we failed to pick up. 4 in
I
22,
see.
23, 4 the year
Yeah,
after that, 4 last season, and 4 this year. In there's been a Europa League, there's been a couple Carabao Cup semi-finals and a final, there's been a Champions League semi-final, 4 second places. That is the real travesty, because Jurgen Klopp didn't clean up title after title, but when he did fail to get one, and he fails harsh.
He wins a domestic double with a
couple
cup.
Carabaos, an FA Cup, a Champions League, a couple more finals. That will be the true failure of this current group.
Yeah, I do agree with you. In terms of everything else that Mikel Arteta has done, I don't necessarily find his manoeuvring in the transfer market, I don't think it's particularly good. I really don't. Like, don't get me wrong. I felt like when he signed Eberechi Eze, it was a great signing. I rated Eze so highly. Eze was undoubtedly one of the best players in the league last year. Getting him the way you did off Tottenham, it felt brilliant. And Gyokeres, I didn't necessarily. Gyokeres is one I got right. Eze, I thought was going to shine for you. I thought he was going to carry you to a league title, and he won't carry. No, that's proved wrong. Gyokeres, I was unsure, and I know it's unfair to lump these two in together, but they're your two marquee signings of the summer. And neither of them have worked as of play today. Yeah.
Now, it's interesting because you talk about the transfer approach. Obviously, Bert has been a big part of that in the summer, 8 signings. I like them all. Gyokeres, I had doubts, but I like that we're at least getting a goal scorer. My issue is, I think we've largely got things right in the market. Like, I think the squad I do think it's a great squad, to be fair.
Not in attack.
But has Arteta brought their level down?
You're not ambitious enough. What I would say, with the exception of Eberechi Eze, which I think was an astute signing. When I say astute, you didn't need to have a deep understanding of football. It was just a wicked footballer, right? Who's Premier League
Go get him, 60 million done.
But you just have to then make it work for him. You have to play to his strengths. You have to give him some freedom. You also have to allow him to make mistakes.
100%.
Like, you can't have this functional football where nobody gives the ball away ever and expect Eberechi Eze to flourish. Like, some of the most profligate players that have ever played for Chelsea are our best. Gianfranco Zola would give the ball away. Eden Hazard would get tackled. Arjen Robben would run the ball out of play. He would miss time a pass because the things he was trying was so impressive. If Joe Cole's trick works, you probably score a goal. So it probably won't work, right? It probably won't. But that's football. That's almost the art of the game. Whereas I feel like Arteta goes, do you know what? Even when he's picking his forward players, I feel like he goes, well, Martinelli does more defensive work than Eze, so I prefer him. It's like, wait, I don't care how much defensive work the geezer does. This is our attack. I just can't understand why you, in the transfer market, the money that you spent, the big players, like the big class acts that have moved. Semenyo is one. Like, Semenyo going to City could be the difference. It's so obvious that Arsenal could do with improvements on that side as well. Arsenal signed Semenyo, all of a sudden, Saka's a better player, Gyokeres is a better player, Arsenal score more goals, Odegaard's a better player, Eze potentially in the middle. It's such an obvious elevation, right? But for one reason or another, you didn't. And then all of those other players that moved, like Shirky and his like unpredictable brilliance. Why are Arsenal not generally signing players like that?
I think, honestly, I think we do. I think we just somewhat ruin them. And ruin's very harsh. So for example, you mentioned Eze. I don't think there's a better player of that profile we could have got this summer.
I agree.
Now, Wirtz, to be fair, went for the mega money to Liverpool. He's now starting to look good, but we need to win now. Shirky, again, I mean, very, very good player. But if you offered me both at the time, having been a little bit of a casual on how good Shirky was, I would have picked Eze. So I don't know if there's much more we could have done with that. But you raise a really good point about the attack and how good they are. I really think it's about the system and the way we profile them and not actually how good they are. I genuinely believe Saka... Okay, let's go through them. Saka, Madueke, Trossard, Martinelli, Eze, Odegaard, Gyokeres, Jesus, Havertz. Okay, Havertz's been injured. Why do none of them look that good right now? Like, it can't be all of them, because at some point we've sat there and gone, they're talented. Odegaard, he's had 2 great seasons at Arsenal before this last year and a half, where he's looked bang average, and that's being kind. Eze, look, we just did for Palace. He won them the FA Cup, albeit they all played their part, but he was a huge part of it. So why so soon after what was such a purple patch in his career is he looking the way he does? Now, you mentioned recruitment, which is so interesting, because I don't think it's the players. I think it's the planning. I'll give you an example. Eze comes in. and he starts on the left against Forest with Ødegaard in the 10. That's how I thought we were going to use him. We need an upgrade on the left. He's going to float into central midfield. I like it. The minute Ødegaard gets injured, we go for Marino. So clearly the plan wasn't, well, let's get Eze in the 10. Essentially, we'll go for something a bit more sturdy, a bit more proven. Waneri was kept after we let Vieira go a year ago. Then against Newcastle, Arteta feels he has to have more of a go, so he brings Eze into the 10. Suddenly Eze's playing in the 10 most of the time, till Ødegaard's fit. Villa Park, Eze goes back to the left, loses Matty Cash at the back post, and now we've never seen him on the left since. So that tells me, Villa Park, massive game, first start for Eze, both on the left. That must have been how you saw him. That must have been the plan.
Yeah.
But instead, we're now ending a game against Wolves with Saka in the 10. Ødegaard, Eze, Marino, Waneri, Havertz, Saka. It's our 6th attempt at trying to work out the number 10 spot. That can't have been part of the plan.
But also, it's such a weird problem to have, because, again, I know I'm oversimplifying it, and Mikel Arteta has such a command of football compared to me. But, if you want to be a bit more ambitious, stop playing a double pivot. Play Rice, who does, Rice does a job or two in the way that Kante would, in the way that Makelele would.
Yeah.
Play Rice as a midfielder, and don't get technical. It doesn't matter what number or whatever. Rice is your midfielder. Rice, Eze, Ødegaard. Creative, inspiring. Why not be you can't sign Eze if you don't see him as a player that can play on the left, when your club captain obviously is going to start games.
Yeah.
I don't understand the motivation.
Well, because again, I think he was signed to be the upgrade on the left-hand side. Only Trossard came in clutch, Ødegaard got injured, and Arteta's kind of landed on, well, this kind of works, so let's stick with it. It's the one issue. Kai Havertz, I don't care what anyone tells me, was not signed to be our starting number 9 and fire us to the title. He was signed to be a left central midfielder.
To replace Granit Xhaka.
Right, with Declan Rice as the new 6 to cover for the fact that we lost a little bit of aggression in there. That was going to be the plan. Ødegaard would float a bit more, Havertz would ghost into the box, and he moved away from that 4 months later.
Yeah.
So cool, all right, we clicked, and then we went on a great run, but it does worry me a little bit. What was the plan? And if this is how you felt in August, when you had a clearer mind, right now we're in the middle of game after game after game, injuries, context, narratives, media, pressure, all that. When you had a clear head in August and you said, yep, Eberechi, make it happen, what were you thinking back then? And I honestly
what was he thinking? What's the answer?
I think he was thinking, left winger. Like that's my starting left winger. Someone who is a match winner, is a good finisher, Eze's not like a build-up player. Let me drop in, let me sort of, keep the ball moving, control a game of football. He's a finisher. Look at the goals he scored for Palace. He's the guy who puts it in the top corner and you go, wow, what a talent. Mercurial talent. And instead we've tried to turn him into this like number 10, get on the ball, play a couple passes, combine with players, run the game of football. It's not his thing. So it's meant to be Zubamendi's thing. But we've got him sort of lung busting up and down the pitch. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing either. But the profiling of the player is so interesting. Why is Timber our highest player when Ben White is the one who's shown he can do things in the final third? Those are my big questions with Mikel.
And what about Viktor Gyokeres? Like, obviously, Eberechi Eze, in my opinion, is a very good signing. It's not working at the moment, but I still believe that he will be.
Yeah, it'll come good.
It's terrible for him that it's not going well now, though. Like, I don't think he's going to go with England. I don't think he can.
No, it's a real.
He's not getting in the team. He's not getting in the Arsenal team. How can he go? And England have a lot of options there, right? So I don't think it's a wrong signing. I do, however, think that Viktor Gyokeres is a terrible signing. I genuinely do.
On England, just very quickly, I think it's a real shame that as we sit here, Feb 20th or whatever it is, that Waneri, Lewis Skelly and Eze, we're all pretty confident won't go.
Yeah.
That's quite sad for the level of talent and the excitement around them and what they were doing in 24-25 to be in this position. But that's a side point. Obviously, Arteta's got to think about Arsenal, not necessarily England, but I think the two can go hand in hand to a degree. On Gyokeres, everyone said Arsenal needed a killer. I genuinely was. I was one of the few people that said I'd rather a 10. I'd rather a prolific winger. I was arguing for Mbemo up front. I was like, look at this guy's numbers in the Premier League. Just chuck him up top. That's working well for United. So that aged well. But yeah, with Gyokeres, his technical level is a touch below what you want it to be, really, for a hold-up striker, link man. So you're asking him to basically be a powerful channel runner and a poacher in the box. We don't create enough chances to see the poaching element. and we're not quick in transition for those kind of runs he makes, and he does make them
down the channels.
For them to have any effect. So while I'm not his biggest fan, while I was never like, yes, sign him, at any cost, I'm desperate to have him at the club, that was never my position, I actually have to defend him a little bit. I really think we're a team that we ask our attackers, basically we do the opposite. We ask our defenders to be brave on the ball, play in tight spaces, show some invention and some bravery. And we ask our attackers to focus on their off-the-ball shape, their high press, lead from the front, be aggressive. If you can nick a goal, great. And I get that the modern game has flipped, the positions and roles a little bit, but it feels like it's gone too far for me.
I just don't see it with Gyokeres. I really don't. And I think most Chelsea fans can have quite a detailed conversation about flop forwards, right?
Oh yeah,
we know.
Yeah,
he just isn't the guy. Scoring 1 billion goals in Portugal, like, who cares?
Do you not think he's a bit of a handful, if you don't mind me asking? Do you not think there's something about him that's like, you can see he causes problems?
Not really. Not in the truest sense of the word.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Not Diego Costa.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
not in the truest sense of the word. And the other thing that he doesn't do, some strikers, they don't have the numbers, they don't score the goals, they don't have the shots on target, they don't have the shots. But they are magical at bringing others into play. So if you ever listen to Eden Hazard talk about the brilliance of Olivier Giroud, for example, Giroud wasn't a good goal scorer, really. He was a scorer of great goals, but he wasn't a great goal scorer.
Yeah.
But Eden Hazard had his best season playing with Olivier Giroud. The best season that Eden Hazard had in his career happened up front happened when Olivier Giroud was up front. So it basically doesn't matter how many goals Giroud scores that season because of what he's contributing to the team. He is most certainly not that. He's not your back-to-goal striker. I don't think he's a thorn in your side. I don't think he's like a Mark Hughes, makes life very difficult for the opposition. I don't think he's an elite finisher in the way that Hughes would be. Then it's about the other properties. When you said, he does make the runs down the channel. He's not particularly strong, I don't think. He's not particularly quick.
He doesn't dominate physically. No. I agree with that.
I just don't know if this was an error. Like, and potentially, it's such an easy thing to say, but when you think about teams that have won the league, every team, apart from the famous Man City team, but they're a unicorn, right? So forget that. Every single team, you go, who won the league in 1995? You immediately go, Alan Shearer. You go, who won the league in 1997? You go, Andy Cole. You go, who won the league in 2002? Thierry Henry. It's like who won it in 2005?
Leicester,
Didier
Vardy.
Drogba. Who won it in exactly, Vardy. It's every single team that have won the league. It's Haaland, it's Aguero, it's Dwight York, it's Andy Cole, it's Teddy Sheringham, it's Alan Shearer. It's just not Viktor Gyokeres. It's just not. Now you could get there by other means, but you'll be making history if you do.
Yeah, well, I think it's also Jamie Carragher's point of it's doing it without a superstar, a magician. So Liverpool last year, they alternated between a few forwards, but Salah was the guy, right? So, again, a favourite word of mine at the moment is platforming, because I love that word so much, because it basically says, what is the manager and what are the team doing to ensure that one person in particular has got the stage to show what they can do? And with Mo Salah, I remember going on a podcast, funny enough, chatting to Turkish, and I said, look at Mo Salah, and I promise you, he's not asked to work that hard. And I kind of said, well, Liverpool fans not going to like that, because of course he runs and he tries. But he literally came out when they won the title. He said, I spoke to Slot earlier in the season, and he basically said, don't worry too much about the defensive duties. We'll cover for that. Give me output. That is world-class platforming of a player like Mo Salah. Now, we don't have Mo Salah, but you can't tell me that Saka can't be more productive than he's been.
Obviously, James.
Yeah.
Like, your responsibility as a manager, in like the most basic sense, is to accentuate the positive of your players, right? So the positive of your players would be Eden Hazard's positive is that he can beat a man for fun. The negative of his ability would be tracking back. So accentuate the positive and don't worry about the negative. Do you know who's really good at defending? Branislav Ivanovic. Let him do that.
Exactly.
Branislav Ivanovic will do that bit. Ivanovic won't beat three men and slot it past the keeper against West Ham United at home. And he won't drive us to a European trophy victory in Baku. But what he will do is he will stop the goals going in. Everybody's job should almost be, what are you good at? Now let's make you really good at it. I have no idea why we talk about forwards, about their defensive properties.
I know.
It's just so... I don't know if it's like modern, I don't know if it's hipster. It's like, I honestly, so when football was a bit different, when I was young going to Chelsea, it never entered my mind how much tracking back Damien Duff did.
I know.
It just didn't enter my mind.
Well, to be fair, it's so interesting because that rhetoric has come from the very top of the game, like Pep Guardiola. He'll come out and say things like, Gabriel Jesus is the best pressing forward in the world. And we kind of go, wow, Pep said it, must be true, that's really interesting. And then that sticks. So now when you're talking about Gabby Jesus, how do we reference him? Well, he's great in the press and he works hard, he
great
links
off
play.
the ball. Centre forward, for God's sake.
Well,
who cares?
It's just, it's where the game's gone. Now, I'm happy to embrace that they've got to do more than just be goal scorers and all that. But you're right, there comes a point where you're thinking, you are some Liverpool fans, and they can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, a lot of them had a lot of love for like Luis Diaz and Darwin Nunez. Even though when they left, they signed Wirtz and they signed Isak and Ekatika, there was a feeling of, wow, we've upgraded. I think some went, don't underestimate the work these two did. And sometimes you need those support acts, and that's okay. But Bukayo Saka is a kind of player that you got to, and Eze, I think, you got to get them in positions where they can just hurt teams. And when you're completely reducing a player down to what do they do off the ball? Do they stand where I need them to stand? I think you're removing my favourite, and I'm sorry speaking for me, I imagine it's true for you, you're removing my favourite thing about football, which is a team game steeped in individualism. If you look at rugby, it's a team game, but you have to connect a certain way to get to a finish line. If you look at American football, it's a team game, but you literally have offense, defense, and they work in a very particular way to achieve. Football is this amazing game where the rules are so simple. You can score from that end of the pitch or that end of the pitch. It can be a 2-yard tapping off your arse, or it can be a 45-yard screamer. They all value one goal. But the beauty of it is it's there for you to express yourself. And I think that's what makes it such a special game. It's why you have shocks at World Cups and Champions Leagues and
mate,
the FA Cup.
Everything you said, mate, I completely agree with it, right? Which is why my favourite footballers of all time will always be Diego Maradona, Ronaldinho. It will always be that kind of footballer. That's what I believe football should be. I will always think that I don't ever want a goalkeeper to win a Ballon d'Or. It's nonsense, right?
I get what you mean. I get you.
I want the players that you're discussing. But then how do you rationalise that with Mikel Arteta, who is like creating this team of functionality? Like, I don't know if this is true, right? But if you said to Bukayo Saka under a completely different manager, if you went, listen, mate, this season, I want goals galore.
I
want
have a good time.
Shoot from anywhere, shoot on sight. This is your year, right? You take risks. You don't worry about anything other than you get the ball, you get to the byline, you cross it, you get a glimpse on goal, you ping it. Let's see what happens. Bukayo Saka might suddenly become like an outrageously brilliant player. Like, I don't know if this is true, right? But when Mohamed Salah went to Liverpool, Jamie Carragher famously said it, he was a player that failed at Chelsea. Harsh, but not incorrect. The player that he then became under the tutelage of Jurgen Klopp was, at various points, the best player in the world. Nobody would have said, like, it sounds ridiculous me saying it now about Saka, but nobody would have said that. It would have sounded ridiculous about Salah, that he's going to become one of the best in the world. He's going to score 44 goals in a season. He's going to. I just wonder if a different manager takes the handbrake off Saka and goes, fly.
I think very possibly. Salah is a great example. If I'm not mistaken, he played for that team there, right? Fiorentina, pretty sure he's at Fiorentina.
He was at Fiorentina,
Then he was at Roma. I remember when he was at Roma, I remember watching them play against Napoli. I think he was on the bench. So if I'm not mistaken, I think his numbers were good. But like it wasn't like he was destined for the top. It wasn't like people were going, this guy's 100%. I remember thinking, why are they spending all this money on Mo Salah? But they identified something in his numbers, a particular efficiency, just a knack for getting goals. And Bukayo Saka, I agree with you. It would have sounded ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous to say that Saka could be a Salah one day now, and it may sound ridiculous to have spoken about Salah in a certain way back then. But Saka has actually got a track record of numbers. If you look at, year on year, his numbers have got better for all his struggles. I think pre-injury last season, they was well on course to maybe even beat the assist record. People go, he could do it this year. So his output and productivity is there. So why are we looking at a player that can be this cold in front of goal, whose goal catalogue is brilliant, who's done it against some of the best, like Real Madrid, he's done it at World Cups for England. Why are we not trying to get him in a position to do more of that? And I think at times Arteta has. I think at some point he start defending Arteta in this video a bit as well. I think at times he has got the best out of Saka. That productivity has also come under Mikel Arteta. This year, I'm just worried that it's safety first and we will get over the line. Why? Because Man City haven't been perfect. So there's almost a sense of, if we're just clever and we're sensible, we'll get it done. I almost think to get more out of us, City would have to be doing that.
But now you're talking about the mentality, right?
Yeah.
I feel like what we've seen from Arsenal in the past couple of weeks,
Yeah.
Brentford winning the game, dropping points, mentality. Wolverhampton Wanderers, undoubtedly a mentality problem. Like, you seem to crumble whenever the pressure is on. Like, I don't want to go conspiracy, right? I don't know if there's anything in this or not. There probably isn't. But you've won, what, 2 out of 7, something like that?
Yeah.
The 2 wins that you've had were 3 o'clock kickoffs, not on the telly, less pressure in itself, right? What is it with the mentality at Arsenal? Like, I feel like there is an underbelly. There is a vulnerability. And if you agree with me that there is, how on earth does Mikel Arteta change that now?
So, do you know how bad I want to come on this channel right now and for all the Arsenal fans out there say, no, it's not nerves, not bottle, it's just a media narrative. So I'll say this just to defend us a little bit. 22-23, I really believe we were a young team, not expected to be there. We lost Saliba and Tomiyasu, who were crucial to our defence, and it crumbled. The bottle thing, I hear it because of the position we were in, but I think it's a touch harsh. 23-24, we fundamentally didn't bottle it. You know, we won 16 games out of 18. We lost 1 to Villa. It can happen. We won at Old Trafford. We won at Tottenham. So we showed nerve. I also think last season, we were just never in a race. I don't think we bottled it. We were just never in a race. And then when I look at the semi-final against PSG, I don't think we were nervous or bottled it. PSG were just unbelievable. And we actually gave them I think we gave them a good go in 2 legs. This year, though, there's something in it. I really think there is something in this kind of this nerve, this underlying tension, this, I don't like the word bottle, but, you know, okay, let the rival say it. Because when you talk about those games, those 2 wins and 7, you're right. 2 of them, 3 p.m. kickoffs, before City had maybe tricky games or whatever, and we kind of kept it moving. But the games where, you know, under the lights, all eyes on you, can you extend the gap? City have just won at Liverpool. How do you respond? City are going to Old Trafford. They've just lost there. How do you respond? Time and time again, it's not just the drop points. I can forgive drop points. The Premier League is incredibly competitive. Look at the trepidation in our passing. Look at the lack of movement. Look at the amount we give the ball away. You know, the Brentford-Arsenal game, Gabriel kicks the ball off for a corner 4, 5, 6 minutes into the game. Now, whether you're nervous or not, you've sent the message to Brentford that you are and that you can be got at. So I think when I look at Liverpool, Forest, United, there was something about our passing that I found we looked nervous. We weren't looking after the ball. Our technical level dropped. And I think, yeah, Leeds and Sunderland was a bit better, but largely in these 7 games, there have been signs of nerves. And I really wish I could sit here and push back on that. I really wish I could. But I can just call it as I see it. I think we look a little bit, you know, when they drop your shoulders and relax, I think we look very intense.
Do you think it comes from the fans at all? Like, do you think that the pressure and the desperation from the fans is having an impact? You know where I really noticed it? I was on the train, right? I work in Dalston, North London. I have no option but to go via Highbury and Islington, which is not ideal. I'm convinced I'm going to get pinged by an Arsenal fan, right? So I'm like, I've got my hood on, I'm thinking, please, God. But I got talking to an Arsenal fan off the back of the Liverpool game. I worked the Liverpool game, and I got talking to an Arsenal fan on the tube, who I got on, and he kind of went, "I bet you're happy with that."
Yeah.
So I got talking to him. Only for a stop, I got to get to King's Cross, but we were talking, and do you know what was really palpable on the train? Packed full of Gooners. It was so obvious that there was an anger, like an anger. Like, I think that, you know, it wasn't a million miles away from sort of booing or hostility.
Well, we did against United. There was a few boos after that game.
Do you think that? And I know that that's not necessarily. I think the message in the boo is more
wake up.
It's not.
I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, but do you feel like the fan base, and you do have an enormous fan base, very loud as well, both in the stadium in terms of like what they expect, and then online. Do you think it contributes to this sort of desperation to win?
We are, and I can only speak for myself. Okay, right, I'll speak for myself. I am desperate to win. I feel every kick of a ball, every throw in we win, it is stress. It absolutely is. And I think we're just in this echo chamber where it's just, everything is just, everyone's got a podcast, everyone's making content, everyone's saying things about your club. One week, genuinely, I remember, I think earlier in the week, there was I think it might be on Sky Sports, should Arsenal be winning the treble? And I think we had a bad result, and are Arsenal going to bottle it? You're just being thrown around all the time. However, the players have to somewhat acknowledge they've kind of brought this on themselves. You can't finish second or fourth year in a row. You can't, the year Man City drop off, let Liverpool run away and do it. And if it's not on the players, because we had a lot of injuries, then it's on the hierarchy for not adding the squad and the players to be able to deal with that. Now, they learned for that this year, so what's the problem this season? So I have to be honest, I have no real sympathy for the players or the manager on this front. I get the fans. I understand why we're frustrated. I understood the booing against United, because I agree, it wasn't boo, you're bad, we're disappointed. It's wake up, look at the opportunity. And I think they need a little bit of that, needle in the arm, a little bit of that, come on, wake up. And I think at the moment, the anger, as much as fans have to energise the team, and I understand that you go to a game, you cheer, whatever, the football the team plays has to energise the fan base.
It's reciprocal arrangement, I agree.
My team right now are top of the league in a Carabao Cup final. We've got Mansfield away in the FA Cup 5th round, so we hope we're getting to the quarters, and we finished top of the Champions League group. Why am I not having fun? Yeah. I should be beaming. I should be sat here going, all right, let's chat to a Chelsea fan, have a bit of a laugh. I don't feel, why do I not feel excited about the game on the week? But it's the football as well. Yeah. I watch, it's absolutely true. I sat with my girlfriend, we were watching the, actually she watched the Brentford and the Wolves game. Oh, thank you very much. And we sat there, and this is absolutely true. I turned to her half an hour into the Wolves game and went, I'm so sorry. I promise you, football's more fun than this.
Well, it got fun. As long as she persevered, she would have had a great time at the end. I did.
She sat there when that equaliser went in, and she just gasped. And I went, we had it coming. And it's like, the football needs to energise us. So yes, we're tense, but we're tense because we are watching us try to sleepwalk over the line.
It's death by 1,000 cuts, isn't it?
Basically.
Potentially.
Potentially. And I think there's a sense of we could be in the exact same position with the exact same points gap, and dare I say, maybe even the exact same results. But if it felt like we were having a go, when Brentford equalised, we were knocking on the door for 20 minutes, not them. When Wolves equalised, right, it was all hands on deck, we'd missed some big chances to make it 3-1, let's go. We're not getting that. So that's why I think the fans feel this way. Arsenal were 2-0 up at Wolves, the away fans were singing their hearts out. The fans weren't a problem then. Yeah. So I know they weren't. What went wrong there? They weren't watching the Goonerverse in the 60th minute, or checking Twitter, or hearing what Rory Jennings thinks. So what was the problem then? Yeah. They just the style of football invites pressure.
Like moving forward, let's look at it. Yeah. You've obviously got Tottenham next. I mean, it's terrible timing for you. Igor Tudor's it's awful, Blue and White Army. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be
all perfect. Because if you win. If you win.
If you win, it could be a big
statement.
Okay, let's look at a fixture. Are you glad that this fixture has come around now then? So, if you could choose your fixture, you have to go to White Hart Lane at some point. Yeah. Is this a great time for the fixture, or is this a disaster?
I wanted this. Genuinely, hand on heart, I actually think it's a good thing. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm nervous about this game, very nervous. I think if we lose, then you have to compartmentalise this terrible run, put it away, and crack on. You've done almost your last big trip of the season. I know you got the Etihad, but and then
that is such a glass half full approach.
Of course, absolutely.
And you're right to adopt it, but
that's how the players have to think.
I can honestly,
they can't be sat there going, "Oh no, we've got Tottenham."
Everybody that plays Tottenham now is gutted. Everybody wants to play. You want to play Tottenham twice under Frank, don't you? Of course you do. Yeah. That's what you're dreaming of. And then if you're going to play the Igor Tudor reign, if you're going to have to face them in this moment, you don't want it to be the first game, and then if you're going to have to do it, you certainly don't want it to be at White Hart Lane. Yeah. I think this is a perfect storm for them. Tottenham totally. Basically against Arsenal, they had no chance. Yeah, because of the circumstances that we've just discussed. Yeah, you're saying there's a chance.
Well, I think it is a perfect time for them. I think almost. Look, I'm not saying we want this fixture right now. We don't want it at all. Yeah. But it's got potential to hopefully kickstart things for us. As much as we're saying everything about Arsenal, think about what people were saying about Man City just 2 weeks ago. People, and even not just 2 weeks ago, 80 minutes into their trip at Anfield, they're done, they're buried, they can't. They just look uninspiring, defensively all over the place. This is not the same side, and something just happened. And since then, they have. I think they maybe played one game in the Premier League. They barely kicked the
Fulham,
ball.
I think,
right?
yeah.
Okay. And Arsenal have just, for want of better words, something the bed. And because that one result, or because we came up against a spirited Brentford and Wolves. But I feel like there's more to it than that.
Okay, so you beat Tottenham.
I think we'll nick it 2-1. I have this weird feeling that it's that kind of game we show up for. Okay. That kind of game where we go, well, you got to. Do you know the only thing that stops me is my head. Well, how do the teams look? The injuries they've got. What do we need to do? My head tells me 2-1. What stops me is I just don't believe we're going to win 4 games in a row at Tottenham.
Law of averages.
Law of averages. We're not winning 4 North London derbies away in a row, are we? If we do, I mean, fair play. Now,
Tudor's never lost his opening. You've seen that stat?
6 wins, 4 and a draw or something.
Yeah,
that's for everything.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're right. But for what it's worth, I just want this game out of the way, and then we just.
Well, then it's us. Yeah. So if you say you beat Tottenham, so you've predicted a victory over Tottenham.
Yeah.
Do you then beat Chelsea?
I think if we beat Tottenham, we'll beat you guys. If we don't, I think we're in for a real. I know I said I just want to get this game out of the way.
Look at your fixtures, right? Chelsea. It goes Tottenham, Chelsea, Brighton. You'll batter. Everton at home, you probably win. Then Bournemouth before Man City, and then it gets quite intense. Newcastle's never easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Palace on the final day could be fighting for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. Do you think that you get over the line looking at these fixtures? Just to read them out for everybody. It goes Tottenham, Chelsea, Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, Manchester City, Newcastle, Fulham, West Ham, Burnley, Palace. West Ham, Burnley, Palace could all be fighting for their lives. I mean, I imagine Burnley will be gone by then.
But also it's 3 sides near relegation.
Yeah, West Ham away, though. Those West Ham fans will love to stop you winning.
Oh, yeah, of course they would. Yeah.
Well, they get the opportunity to stop Declan Rice winning the league.
Do you think this matters? We only leave London twice. Do you think it matters or not?
Yeah, I think it's more beneficial than it not being.
Yeah, of course. It's not a bad
thing.
Right?
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, City's run doesn't look, particularly ideal either. I just think that's as much as we have to go to City, we're undefeated in our last 2 trips to the Etihad. I think maybe 3, 2 or 3.
Okay, do you win it then? Do you win the league?
I think we're going to nick it. I do. Yeah, I genuinely do. Because I think at the moment people are viewing Arsenal through the flaws they've got. But I think if you look at, let's not judge it on the last 7. Let's judge it on the last, 27 or 28, however many we're in. City have had more flaws. Now the question is, do they click into gear enough? I think they will click into gear, and I think that Liverpool result was a big one. They followed that up with a good win against Fulham. I just have this blind faith that it's more the environment of the Premier League now. The Premier League has become physical. It's become about set pieces. Defences are more important, I think, than they certainly were maybe a few years ago. I have a feeling that might just nick it for us. That Carabao Cup final could be huge. That could be a huge mentality shift for either side as well.
Okay, so you think you win the league. How many other trophies?
I think it could easily be just that one, which I would take, I'd run, and I'd have a great summer.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I sort of have this weird twisted, if we bottle the league, we might walk away with a Carabao and FA Cup, something like that. I basically feel for all our issues, and Arsenal fans, I know I've been critical. I know. I can't pretend I don't feel this way. But if we don't win the league, I just have this weird feeling that there'll be something to show, because as much as our ceiling, the best of Arsenal, isn't maybe where we want it to be, I think our floor for all our issues is like a draw, 2 away draws in the Premier League. We didn't lose. And I'm not saying that's a good mentality, but we didn't lose the game. Do you know what I mean? I think there's kind of, as much as we're bad, there's only so bad because we kind of have a reliable enough defence. You think City are going to do it. You're giving me that look that...
I'm finding a lot of what you've said in the last
Arsenal
30 seconds. A lot of what you've said, it feels desperate.
That's fair enough.
It's the first time, actually. Everything that you've said, you're obviously a very erudite individual, but you've suddenly gone mad in the last 30 seconds.
That's fair enough. I don't but you know what, as well, part of it is what do I want to put out there? I don't ever want to sit on a rival fan channel and go, I think we're going to bottle it. I think City will run away. I'm not sure we'll come away with anything. Because I don't want my opinions on football to just be based on what I've seen the last 3-4 weeks, when I've seen 4 months of real encouragement. So hopefully they click into gear. I think we'll do it. And I think this whole, Arteta, would I move on in the summer? I don't think that'll be a problem, because I think he'll have something to show for his work this year.
Well, there we have it. James Budderby, the Bad Man MC.
Thank you
Thank you so much for coming on, mate. It's always a joy to talk football.
Thank you, mate. Really enjoyed it.
And I really, really appreciate you finding the time to join me. Make sure that you click the link in the description below. You will find a link there to the Goonerverse, which is James's YouTube channel. Fantastic Arsenal content waiting for your perusal. Go and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Really interested to hear what you have to say. Please give this new strand a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. And obviously click subscribe. It would be a joy to welcome you into this community. Ta-da!